Hello there, and thanks for stopping by. Today we're putting raw rice head-to-head against cooked rice in a garden showdown to see which one is the ultimate soil supercharger. The results are going to surprise you. We're going to set up a simple controlled experiment that you can easily do at home. Our goal is to see this microbial explosion for ourselves. Here's what you'll need: 2 identical containers or clear jars, enough garden soil to fill them both, a 1/4 cup of plain raw white rice, and a 1/4 cup of the same rice, but cooked and completely cooled. Make sure the cooked rice has no salt, oil, or seasonings, because those can slow down microbial growth. First, let's label our containers: raw rice and cooked rice. We're being scientific here. Next, fill both containers with the same amount of soil. We want to be sure the only thing we're testing is the rice. Now, for the raw rice container, just pour in your 1/4 cup of uncooked rice and mix it thoroughly into the top few inches of soil. For the cooked rice container, do the same thing with your cooled, cooked rice. Break it up with your fingers as you mix it in to make sure it's spread out and not just one big clump. Finally, lightly moisten the soil in both containers with the same amount of water. We're going for damp, not soggy. Moisture is key because microbes need it to move around and get to work. And that's it. The stage is set. We'll place both containers in a warm, shaded spot, side by side, and let the 72-hour countdown begin. Welcome back. It's been 24 hours since we set up our experiment. Let's take a look. In the raw rice container, just as we expected, there's not much to see. The soil looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. The grains of rice are still hard, white, and perfectly distinct. There's no weird smell, just the faint scent of damp earth. This is the slow burn in action. Microbes are there, but they haven't even started to dent the tough exterior of the rice. Now, let's check the cooked rice container. Whoa, something is already happening. If you look closely at the soil, you might see that the texture looks a little different. And if you get close, you might pick up on a faint, slightly sweet or tangy smell. That's the very first sign of fermentation. The microbial party is just getting started as bacteria begin feasting on those easy sugars. Let's jump forward to the 48-hour mark. This is where the difference becomes impossible to ignore. The raw rice container? Still nothing. It looks unchanged, a perfect picture of patience. But the cooked rice container is now a hub of activity. That faint aroma from yesterday has ramped up into a distinct, sour smell, kind of like yogurt or a sourdough starter. This smell is the byproduct of rapid bacterial fermentation. You might even spot the very beginnings of faint, wispy white threads forming on the buried rice. That's the mycelium of fungi, showing up to join the feast. The soil itself just looks darker and more alive. The explosion is building. The moment of truth has arrived. It's been 72 hours and the results are pretty striking. Let's start with our control, the raw rice container. After 3 full days it looks, well, like a container of dirt with some rice in it. The grains are still hard, fully intact, and show no obvious signs of decomposition to the naked eye. This demonstrates perfectly that raw rice is a long-term soil conditioner, not a short-term fire starter. Now, for the main event. The cooked rice container is a completely different world. It is visibly teeming with life. The surface of the soil is covered in a web of white, fuzzy fungal mats, spreading out from where the rice was buried. The sour, fermented smell is strong, a testament to the billions of bacteria hard at work. The rice itself is no longer recognizable. It has been transformed into a gooey, sticky mass that's being actively consumed and woven into the soil. This is the microbial explosion we were looking for. It's a thriving ecosystem in a jar, and we created it in just 3 days. If you think this transformation is as cool as I do, and you're into these simple, science-backed garden hacks, take a second to hit that like button and make sure and subscribe to the channel. We're all about breaking down big ideas into simple steps you can use in your garden right away. So, we've seen a dramatic difference in a jar, but what does this microbial explosion actually do for your garden? So, this rapid bloom of bacteria and fungi does a few amazing things. First, it kickstarts the soil food web. All this activity attracts other beneficial organisms, like earthworms and protozoa, who come to feed on the microbes, which cycles nutrients even further. Second, this intense microbial activity can generate a tiny amount of heat. It may not be much, but it can help gently warm the soil, giving seedlings an extra little boost, especially in the cool weather of early spring. Most importantly, as these microbes live their short, fast lives and die, their bodies release nutrients that are immediately available to your plants, right in the root zone. It's like creating a pocket of supercharged, living fertilizer. This is an incredible trick for reviving tired container soil, firing up a sluggish compost pile, or preparing a planting hole for a heavy feeder like a tomato or squash plant. Just bury a handful of cooled, plain cooked rice a few inches deep about a week before planting to give your plants a running start. After seeing these results, you might be tempted to write off raw rice completely, but that would be a huge mistake. Raw rice absolutely has a valuable place in the garden. It just plays a different role. Think of it as the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. Cooked rice is the sprinter, a massive burst of energy that's over quickly. Raw rice is the marathon runner, providing a slow, steady, and sustained source of fuel that keeps the soil ecosystem fed over an entire season. If your goal is to build long-term soil health and improve its structure, raw rice is an excellent choice. The best way to use it is to bury it deeper in the soil, around 6 to 8 inches down. This drastically reduces the chance of attracting surface pests like rodents, while allowing it to slowly break down and feed the deep fungal networks that are so critical for healthy, resilient soil. It works especially well when you mix it with a nitrogen source, like grass clippings or used coffee grounds, to create a more balanced diet for the microbes. So, the winner in the showdown between raw and cooked rice? It really depends on your goal. If you need a fast, explosive burst of life to wake up your soil, activate a compost pile, or give your plants an immediate boost, cooked rice is the undisputed champion. Its easily accessible energy creates a visible microbial bloom in just 3 days, supercharging your soil for the short term. But if you're playing the long game and want to build deep-lasting soil fertility, raw rice is your steady, reliable partner, slowly feeding the soil food web for months on end. The real power comes from knowing when to use each one. You can even use both cooked rice near the surface for a quick start, and raw rice buried deep for long-term health. Sometimes the most powerful solutions in the garden are also the simplest. A humble pantry staple might just be the key to unlocking the vibrant, living soil your plants have been dreaming of. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever used rice in your garden? Are you going to try this experiment yourself? Share your experiences and results in the comments below. I read every single one, and if you learned something new today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep growing.